You're the owner of a small business, which means you're also the tech guy, and HR, and personal assistant, and head honcho, and intern. You could use another pair of hands, like the experts you'll find at Verizon Small Business Days, April 21st through 27th. Get a free tech check, special deals, and more. Call 1-800-483-4428 or visit verizon.com/smallbusiness to book your appointment. Verizon Business.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Whoa. What a week. What a week. What a week. Whoa. I'm worn out. Oh my gosh, what a week. There's so much going on. And we oh, by the way, I want to give you a little phone number because while we're going to talk about some other stuff, we really want to talk about your money stuff. So give us a call at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255, because I know it's easy to forget the number. So 855-935-8255. Talk. No, we have to talk about something this week. It is absolutely critical. We've talked about it before. I know you probably heard a lot about this, but I'm telling you, this is such a big national story.
It's a cruncher, and it's one that's been. I saw it in the New York Times again today.
I'm telling you,
all over the media.
This is just. I can't believe how big this story is, and it's taken on a serious financial aspect that I guess I wasn't expecting. I probably should have expected, knowing human greed as I do. And the story, the story we're talking about. You know which one we're going to cover, right? You know exactly what this is about.
It's a mouthful. It's we got something people have been chewing on over the place.
And once again, we desperately need a dad joke arbiter in the studio. Please, if anyone wants to volunteer for the role, it's only a brief test.
I see a guy in the back row there.
Yeah, it's only a brief test.
No,
we'll hand out your little yellow cards and your red cards. Red cards means he's out of here. They're so bad. And
okay. I got that one coming.
Yeah, you do. Because here's what you think you know what we're talking about. You think, right? Of course you know. We're talking about the national grape nut shortage. It is a travesty.
Continues.
It is a travesty. I can't believe that we've fallen this low as a society that we cannot supply grape nuts addicts like our good friend Tom with the grape nuts he needs. Thank goodness his wife is a scrounger and managed to scrounge up a case of grape nuts for him to get him through this crisis.
Whoa. Don't tell people I'm hoarding grape nuts here. They'll be
hoarding
marching
grape
on my
nuts.
garage soon.
Now, they have no toilet paper, but they've got grape nuts.
That's a good point, which think that through.
Priorities.
Could be important. Yeah, could be important. Grape nuts, it's been hard to find on the shelves.
Seriously.
It depends on where you are. I remember we had the guy in the South Sound sent me the picture after we talked about this a month ago. Mm-hmm. And then, my wife went out because she works in the business. She found a restaurant supply company that sent us a case, not one box, not two boxes, a case of grape nuts.
And do you know on the secondary market what that case of grape nuts goes for on eBay? 2 boxes.
Yeah.
And they're not big. Grape nuts boxes. They're not big.
No, they're not.
I think they're like 15 ounces, 14 ounces.
That sounds right.
2 boxes of grape nuts going on eBay for $55.
What?
How many boxes?
I'll be right back.
How many boxes do you have?
I got to do some posting here. Pardon the pun.
Yes, invented. By the way, I know now everything there is to know about grape nuts. They were invented in 1897 by C.W. Post, who was a nutritional wild man. They went with the first expedition to Antarctica, to the South Pole. They went to on the first climb up Mount Everest. They were with the troops during World War I. These were a hot product in the early 20th century. They've calmed down since then until the pandemic. And then all of a sudden, boom!
You couldn't find them. It's weird. They weren't on the shelf. They still had the name up there, but they never had the actual product, and they never had a good explanation. And even even the explanation in the New York Times today, I would not call that a great explanation of where are my grape nuts.
They basically said, here's what they said: supply chain constraints.
What does that mean? That means nothing.
It means that they didn't expect to sell as much as so they didn't make enough. They didn't make enough.
Shorter the supply than buying GameStop at Robinhood, I guess, or something.
Oh, and
right?
by the way, as to the name, Grape-Nuts, the New York Times claims that C.W. Post believed that they created glucose when he baked them, and he referred to glucose as grape sugar, and that they had a nutty flavor. So I
thought they were in there squeezing the nuts out of all of these grapes. I thought, wow, that is a lengthy and difficult process.
That's how you get seedless grapes. You squeeze out the little grape nuts and you bake them up. 855-935-TALK is our number. 855-935-8255.
We're going to talk about the other major issue, right, of the week?
Oh, gosh, yes, because you've got two things that made a lot of money. You got your grape nuts that have gone way up, and then you got AMC stock that you bought.
Oh, that's right. I've had a big week. I forgot all about that.
I'm so embarrassed to be on the show with him as a stock trader. 855-935-TALK. Call.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Our biggest event of the year, Retire Meet America 2021, is now available to everyone in the country, and it's absolutely free. Sign up now at retiremeet.com, retiremeet.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
855-935-TALK is our phone number. During the break, somebody sent Tom a picture of their Raisin Bran Crunch closet.
Good Lord.
At literally, what, 50, 60 boxes of Raisin Bran Crunch?
A lot of boxes. I'm not going to give out his name nor his address.
I got to tell you, well, no, because it really, here's the difference. This is like somebody buying a share of General Motors stock and Tom buying a share of AMC stock. His grape nuts are worth $27.50 a box, while Raisin Bran Crunch in a 2-pack is going for a whopping $4.50. So you picked the wrong stock.
By the way, thank you, Todd, for sending that. That's an interesting and unusual photo.
Yeah, and you picked the wrong stock, Todd. Tom bought Grape Nuts.
Well, no, and AMC. So let's go.
You're right twice, you market timer.
I know, finally. Well, everything comes in threes, so I got to have one more hit. But let's talk about the real story this week, Don. Yes, grape nuts. We've had our fun with grape nuts. I've had my fill of grape nuts, as it were.
You were eating them this morning when we talked.
Yes, I pretty much have to eat them all the time now, as you know, since we're going our way through 12 boxes of them.
Do you like grape nuts and ham? I do not like them, Sam. I am.
You have to have them with everything. But you and I already know the story of the week is, of course, not grape nuts, but it's GameStop. I mean, it's similar words in some ways. Mm-hmm. But I think people are trying to figure out if you're not following this closely, it's kind of a weird situation trying to figure out what's going on. Tell us what's going on with that story.
Well, it's really odd. And the problem is you need to have some basic knowledge to even understand this stuff. For example, a lot of this involves hedge funds that are selling stock short. They've been selling the stock of GameStop which is selling stock you don't own. You borrow the shares,
correct,
and you hope that the price goes down. You buy them back at the lower price, and you return them to the people from whom you purchased them, or borrowed them, I should say. Borrowed.
You're betting against the company.
Now, what occasionally happens in the industry is when short sellers get a little overzealous selling a stock and it goes way down, then sometimes experts step in and buy the stock, which creates a thing called a short squeeze. The short sellers see the price of their shares going up and they have to add more money to their account because the stock's value is going in the opposite direction. They're going to have to buy it back at a higher and higher price. And so that forces them to buy the stock back. So it's a game that's played among the experts. Well, now the game is afoot among the rank amateurs, including a 34-year-old guy who was a stockbroker for an insurance company and then became a, quote, financial educator. And then
everybody's a financial educator.
And then he became some sort of stock trading kitty on Reddit. What happened is he's been for about a year, he's been buying the stock of GameStop and posting little videos about it. Well, those videos finally went viral. And all of these Redditors and anarchists, Redditors and anarchists, They decided either they were going to get rich or they were going to stick it to the man. Here's a man sticking thing.
So it's like a protest of some kind. Is what it's turned into.
They claim it is, but being a serious skeptic, this dude bought like $55,000 worth of GameStop, and it's worth millions now. And he keeps claiming he hasn't sold any, but really, do we know that? No. To me, it sounds an awful lot like another Wall Street bad habit, which is called front running.
Okay, but is this something that everybody should be doing? Because this is you're making way more money way quicker, faster than just owning an index fund, right? Isn't this something I should try?
Absolutely. Everyone should jump right into this, because what you will do by doing so is make Mr. Kitty really, really wealthy. And
You'll
then
restock the kitty.
When he sells his stock and all of the others out there do, whoever is who gets in the pool last jumps in after all the water has been splashed out. You will end up being the greater fool. And that's the only way these kinds of things work. That's the only way AOL worked back in the 90s, or pets.com, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Those all were greater fool theory deals. The real estate bubble of 2007, 2008. That was a greater fool bubble. We saw prices in some parts of the country, a house that today sells for $200 a square foot, going for $350 or $400 a square foot. It was a crazy bubble.
And here's the thing. Okay, because this has been all over, not just the financial pages, but this has been at the top of, major, like CNN and, the regular news, right?
Yeah.
New York Times. So that's when I start to get worried. So, but let's give it a little perspective, because I think that is important. How is this really affecting people that believe like we do, like use index funds or invest in the S&P 500 or globally diversified? Not very much.
Nope.
Because when you look at, because this is from Jason Zweig, to give him full credit, as of December 31st, a lot of these, most of these companies that they're talking about here, the ones that were really shorted, including AMC, they made up 0.1% of the S&P 500. Pretty small number. So that's the thing about these things. You get a lot of press, but is it really going to impact you? Not very much. As of January 27th, a few days ago, they made up just shy of 0.2% of 1% of the S&P 500. So still, when you look at the big picture, pretty small companies, right? And here's the other part. Because people view this like, oh, volatility is going through the ceiling. And by the way, for the month, the S&P ended up down a little over 1%. So people get worried, oh, volatility's way up. No, volatility is actually about mid-range. Jason looked at the month. It's about where you would expect, stocks they should be volatile, because that's how you get paid for them. So again, I try to say, step back, really look at it. No, this is not something we would recommend. I know I touched briefly on a stock.
In fact, Tom needs to sell his AMC.
I know. I got to look at
what have you had, a triple? You've had a triple.
I know.
It's a three-bagger.
And I did not buy it on speculation. I did not buy it as part of this revolt. No, I bought it because I had a few extra dollars in my daughter's Roth IRA, and I couldn't afford the shares of the exchange-traded fund I was putting her in. That's the only reason.
Wait, be honest. You bought it because you knew it was speculative. I bought it because it was the largest AMC value stock of the moment. No, it was. You're right. I said, what would be the most, that's not coming back. What's the thing that's going to be most injurious? Did you hear that little bell sound? Yes, I thought it was time for us to leave. That was like Captain Kangaroo. Time was up. What was that little bell sound? Oh, that's okay. Someone at the studio says, "Don't worry, we're continuing on." Oh no, we're in trouble. The angels have come for us. Yeah, it's getting so old that they ring ahead. They ring ahead. I'm sorry, they ring ahead. I didn't mean to make fun of Grape-Nuts and CW Post. Exactly. Yule Gibbons, he used to love him some Grape-Nuts. Sorry, Yule. Yeah, so watch. Yule Gibbons is my guardian angel. That's it. I mean, no wonder I'm in trouble. Do not run out and join this movement. Please do not buy options. Oh, by the way, I think I read today that the short sellers have lost between 50 and 70 billion with a B dollars. This is unbelievable from this one thing. From this one thing. And if you think that's a value stock, think again. GameStop stock is trading at 68 times
Three
book
times.
value. 68 times book value.
Wow.
That is not a value stock.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Retire Meet has gone both national and virtual. Join Tom and me along with a host of other retirement experts at Retire Meet America 2021. Reserve your place now at retiremeet.com, retiremeet.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Yes, indeed we are, and we hope to do it with you at 855-935-TALK. Give us a call, 855-935-8255. I'm Don McDonald. That's Tom Cock. We talk real money every Saturday here on Como Radio, and then we do it all over the internet, all over the world, all over the world. In fact, on yesterday's podcast. Did you listen?
Yeah.
Did you
I
listen?
did not. No.
Call from London. London calling on the podcast.
Yes. What's going on in London they want to know about?
He wanted to know about his portfolio. Guess what he owns? Vanguard. There you go.
Good.
Yeah.
Vanguard Global or Vanguard?
He didn't
something?
say. I asked that. Anyway, I wanted to clear something up for those of you playing along at home and don't know what book value is. Book value is the value, the accountant's estimate of the value of all of a company's assets. Its good name, its buildings, its inventory, goodwill, those kinds of things. That's its book value.
You compare that to the market value, market capitalization.
Right.
In our mind, that's how you determine a growth stock from a value stock.
And typically,
others would argue, but that's how we do it.
Typically, a value stock is trading down in that some say one, right at a one book value, where the book value and the market value are the same. Some say three and lower. It depends on who you talk to. But
time.
The interesting thing is, I'll give you another example of a high book value stock, and this makes perfect sense. Tesla, a high book value ratio. They have a 55-1 ratio. But get this. Get this. Let's talk about a real value stock. GM, General Motors.
Sure.
Just over 1-1.
And by the way, you saw GM's announcement a couple of days ago.
Right. They're saying, we're going to beat Tesla.
2035. By 2035, all electric. That's it.
I'm excited.
2035. That's like 14 years. No way that's going to happen. That is crazy.
Now, see, be careful with the no way, because Tesla
chances of me being around to be arguing.
Tesla is an all-electric company, and they said that
I'm aware
it could
of that,
never
but you
happen.
Reboot the entire thing with. I don't know. It seems like a big deal, but could be wrong.
Basically, a car is a car is a car. It's just they're going to stop making engines and start making electric motors.
All right. Okay.
I'm telling you, I don't think it's. And GM's been building electric cars for a while, so they've got some experience with it. Not the most. Here's what GM needs to do. They need to hire somebody who can design a car that actually looks good. I can't.
Ouch.
There isn't a General Motors. Okay, maybe a Corvette. I don't think so, though. There isn't a General Motors car that I think looks attractive. Not one. Not
Vega?
one. Oh, a Vega. Wait a minute. That's a long time ago, dude. A Chevy Vega?
I love those aluminum blocks. They're just really great, aren't they? Saves a lot of weight.
The Volt is an ugly sedan.
That's true.
The Bolt, the Volt was the one with the engine. No, wait. The Bolt was
No, that's the one with the electric.
Yeah, the Bolt was electric with an engine, and the Volt was electric without an engine. Ugly cars. I got to tell you, Ford now, they're making some pretty good looking cars. That new, Broncos looks good. That new Mustang, they're doing something different. Cause if you look around, what?
I'm old. I don't look at car designs anymore.
I do. Care. Now that I bought a small SUV, the Nissan Rogue, I look around now and notice every car on the road is basically the same style. The Honda, same style. The Hyundai, same style. The Toyota, same style. The Mercedes,
they figured out
same
what people
style.
will buy, and they're making them
similar?
And
they're making them all
really?
this, but they have the same little window in the back. Go look. If you're out driving, look around at the small SUVs, and you'll go, wait, those are all the same car.
I do, and I'm getting old. I always think they're going to run into me, too, so I prefer them to stay
You have
well
always thought they were going to run into you.
More now than
I
before,
have ridden in a car with you for decades. And I have never remember a time when you weren't on the road going, stay back, Stay back. No. Hey, you in your lane. Get back over there. No.
I need a speaker on top of the car or something.
That's what you need so you can yell at him. Hey, you.
Step forward.
You in the silver sedan. Back away from my blue car.
I'm
going to cough now. You talk.
Yeah, that's very good.
I had to hit the cough switch. Okay.
What?
All right.
Enough about cars, enough about Grape-Nuts, enough about GameStop.
Here's what we're going to do.
AMC.
Here's what we're going to do. When we come back, we're going to take some questions.
Well, no, we got the great Paul Merriman. We're going to come back.
Oh, God, is he this hour? I thought he was next hour. He's this
hour coming up.
Oh, my gosh, this is even more exciting. Paul Merriman is back. I never get to do the show with Paul. You always get to because you do.
We're talking
you bring
millions.
Paul. You bring Paul on when I'm not here. 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Learn about estate planning, Medicare, Social Security, senior housing, investing for retirement, generating income in retirement, and protecting yourself from consumer scams, along with a special keynote duo, Paul Merriman and David Booth, the founder of Dimensional Fund Advisors. Reserve your free place now at retiremeet.com, retiremeet.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Okay, no one will know. Tom, just pretend to be Paul. No one's going to know. We're back? Oh, I'm sorry. Paul Merriman is not in the building yet.
No, he's not in the building. And this is a disappointment. He's got a brand new book called We're Talking Millions, 12 Simple Ways to Supercharge Your Retirement.
And you know how shy he is about talking in front of an audience.
He's reticent, but he usually comes through in the end. But we look forward to talking with him when we can.
Sure we do.
No, really.
No, she didn't tell us he was on the line.
No, I was waiting. Okay. You know that guy we alluded to earlier that wrote the book? Wrote more than one book? And is a financial educator, among other things.
Among other things, yeah.
Many other things. He's actually going to join us now on Talking Real Money. Paul, thank you. Thank you for being there.
We're talking millions.
I know. You're really... Okay, so...
With you guys.
Millions of laughs.
I'm so glad you're worth millions because we're not worth a darn anymore.
All right, we got to ask you before we get to your book.
It's always fun to be with you guys, but you are just a little crazy.
The butt?
Just a little.
I'm sorry.
Well, you should see what they feed us. We each got half a box of Grape-Nuts before we did the show, so we're ready to roll. It's an inside joke. Okay, so listen.
We're talking about helping people here and focusing on their serious financial needs.
Right, we're sorry.
Okay, all right.
So let's. By the way, I'm getting serious.
I feel duly chastised now, Mr. Merriman.
Good.
All right, let's start at the top. Before we get to your book.
Wait, there's more?
We got to know what's your take on GameStop, AMC, et al. This week, beating up on the short sellers. Is this something people should pay attention to or not?
Well, this depends on who you are. I paid attention to it because I've got a ton of it in my portfolio.
Yes. Wait a minute. What percentage of your portfolio is in GameStop?
Don't ask that question, Don. That's the wrong answer. That'll lead to a bad answer. It is a minute part of my portfolio because it is in the DFA funds already, millions of shares. It is in the Vanguard funds, millions of shares. So if you think it has nothing to do with you, it does. What I don't know, and I would love to know, is what is DFA and what is Vanguard doing about those holdings at this point when a company that's worth a small amount is selling for a huge amount?
Profit taking?
I
don't know.
Well, we had the numbers. We had the number earlier by January 27th. Those stocks made up about 0.2% of the S&P 500. So it's still a pretty small amount.
Now, that actually is considered that they hold that particular company in the small cap value portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. It seems to me a lot of the argument I hear from people is that, well, I'm just buying value stocks. Well, one, they're not value stocks anymore, but wouldn't it be just smarter if you want to buy undervalued assets in an environment like this to just buy a small cap value fund?
Well, that does make sense. And in fact, what the academics tell us is that these value stocks are out of favor for a reason. It's not like it's a miracle that they're selling for very little. It's because they got challenges, and this is one of many. But what the academics tell us is that you look at a bunch of, an index, 100, maybe 1,000 value companies. 5 years from now, a half of them will still be out of favor. It's the other half that make owning value worthwhile, and nobody knows how to pick the ones that are going to be the winners 5 or 10 years from now. But right now, it's obvious to see how one has done it, and it's an unusual way to make money.
You've been in the business for a while, does this smell like front running, though?
Well, this always smells like something's going on. I mean, there are so many ways for people to make money that can be questioned later, that are not doing it as investors, but are doing it as speculators. And so I'm not sure what the reason is, but it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with the way that I believe that people should be investing for the long term. It has a lot to do, though, with the way so many people speculate. It's not investing, speculate. And when they speculate, it is normally driven by emotions. And
all right, we're going to take a break here, Paul. We're going to take a break. Hang on a second. The book is We're Talking Millions. Paul Merriman will have more from Paul and you coming up, right, Don?
Absolutely. Stick around.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Now everyone can meet the retirement of their dreams at Retire Meet America 2021 online. Sign up now for free at retiremeet.com. That's retiremeet.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Welcome back to Talking Real Money. I'm Tom Cott, Don McDonald over there.
Hey.
Our guest, which we rarely do, is the author of We're Talking Millions, 12 Simple Ways to Supercharge Your Retirement. Why do we have him on as a guest? Well, because he made us, basically. No, that's not true. No, because this is a great, I love these reviews. I mean, the bots were really operating here to get all, he has like 67 reviews for his book at Amazon. Crazy. It's only been out a few months. But if you read some of these reviews, Paul and his team did a good job in explaining important financial concepts that are easy to understand, making the difficult simple. I love that. Great book with variety of approaches. I could read these reviews all day. Again, our pleasure to have Paul Merriman on with us. No, but I won't. But I do want to mention one other thing. Paul will be speaking at Retire Meet. He's one of our big name speakers. That's coming up Saturday, February 20th. And he'll be part of that. But Paul, why write another book? You've done such the books in the past have explained how investing works, retirement income. What's the deal here? Why write another book about talking millions?
I wanted a book, and Rich Buck, who's worked with me for 30 years, we wanted a book that took all this information we've learned over our lifetimes and make it super simple. Make it so that not only could a 50-year-old first-time investor or a 20-year-old, even a 15-year-old could understand the hugely important decisions. Every decision in that book, Tom and Don, is a $1 million decision. There are 12 of them. If we could just get young people to do this throughout their career, it is my belief that they would, I can't use the word guaranteed, but by golly, it's as close as I know in this business in terms of doing the right thing. And that's what this book is about. And what is so really, it's heartwarming to me that those reviews, and not one of them is a relative. I want you to know that. Those reviews, everyone is a 5-star. Everyone that wrote a review gave us 5 stars. That is fantastic, I think.
Well, I read the book, of course.
You did, and you read it. You really read it.
I read it, and then I listened to it again, and then I listened to it again to get all the bugs out. But I read the book, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I love this whole concept of getting young people to get started in a simple way, and that's what this book's about. It's a simple way to do it. But Paul, I'm going to ask you maybe the toughest question you've ever gotten about one of your books. All right? I have
disconnect coming.
I have one little concern. I read along and read along and read along, and then I got toward the end of the book, and you started talking about some mutual funds that you could just buy and own forever. And what bothered me, why Wellington, for heaven's sake? It's an actively managed fund.
You know something, Don? I have sat down. I mean, you and I agree, Tom, we all three of us agree the kinds of index funds people should have. No question. But we do know that a balanced fund is a kind of a fund that most people, when they are older, that's what that last part of the book about is people who are older in retirement. That at that point, a balanced fund is what is most appealing, particularly if they're a do-it-yourself and wanting to do this on their own. And what do I like about Wellington? Wellington's been around since 1928. You're talking to an investor sometimes that has little to no experience. They're going to do it on their own. It is really a sense of security they have when one, they're dealing with Vanguard, and two, they're dealing with a fund that's been around doing the job.
But
yes,
why not balanced index, Paul? Why not Vanguard Balanced Index instead, which has 3,400 stocks compared to 58 and is an index with almost identical 15-year performance?
Well, actually, I recommend, again, this is to recently did my favorite 12 Vanguard video, podcast YouTube piece, and that fund is one that I do recommend. I've got 4 or 5 balanced funds that I like. And again, it's the idea of convincing people they need a combination of stocks and bonds. And I think they should own a handful of them. If you own a handful of these balanced funds, you're going to pick up different asset classes and I think have a more diversified portfolio, not just one.
It's our pleasure to talk today with Paul Merriman. He has a relatively brand new, like 3-month-old book. We're talking millions. It's still relatively new. Don read it for the audio version. You can buy it at Amazon where it's well reviewed. But Paul, you're going to be speaking at Retire Meet, which I think is 3 weeks from today, if my calendar is right. And what are you going to be telling people that day?
Well, I'm going to talk about this book, and I'm going to focus on the parts of the book that I think will apply in large part to the group that will be there. But I got to tell you, the highlight of the presentation is when I tell people that have come to Retire Meet that they're going to get a free audio copy of Don's reading of that book. And I got to tell you, we have had a handful of people who have listened to that. And Don, you did a phenomenal job. You are one heck of a book reader, I'll tell you. And
Thank you.
When I listened to it, the book became a different thing. It really took on a life of its own. And so we're going to make sure that everybody who comes and spends the day with us will be able to take this book home with Don. You can take Don to bed. There's the deal.
Whoa, there's a promotion that nobody wants to use. Wow.
Hey.
Editing button pushed again and again and again. I tell you what, we don't run that kind of show here.
Debbie's listening right now. She's going to take umbrage with that. Well, maybe not.
All started with Grape-Nuts and worked his way to working with Don in another room.
Now you owe me a $27.50 box of Grape-Nuts for that.
How about just a share of AMC?
Just
Come on,
a share of AMC. Well, Paul, what do you want everybody to get out of this book? What's the one big message you want all the readers to take from this book?
It's a strange message in a way, and I'm not sure that everybody is going to see it as I see it. Of course, these are million-dollar decisions. I mean, we have evidence from the past. We can't know the future, but we know the things that have worked in the past and how to put them together in your best interest. But I think what the knockout punch is that all it takes is an extra 0.5%. In order, particularly for younger people, in order to add an extra $1 million to your retirement. And that's a big deal. Now, when we start talking about 12 of them, and each one of them is likely a $1 million decision, boy, if we can get people to get serious and ignore all the emotions of this business and all the hype of this business, I think they are going to be able to retire in dignity with all the money that they're going to want. But that 0.5%, that's all it takes, is another 0.5%.
Okay, wait.
I love that.
I'm doing the math.
A great
wait,
message.
Let me do the math.
How are we looking? Am I on the right side of the 0.5%?
$14.95 for the paperback and $12 million potential return? I think this is a deal.
Something,
and a free audiobook if you come to Retire Meet, even better. Go ahead, Paul. We got to go.
Okay, guys, it's been great. Always been great to be with you guys.
You're the best.
All right, thanks, Paul. Thanks for answering my difficult
You'll be uninterrupted for the Retire Meet coming up in 3 weeks.
We'll leave you alone now. It is actually it's got a lot of great stuff in it. I enjoyed reading it. Thanks for being here, Paul. We appreciate you.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I created Vestory to help everyone become a better investor, even those who will never be clients. Let one of our advisors help you start your financial plan or solve a money problem free with no obligation or high-pressure sales pitch at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
What we talk about all the time. It's really what we do. We talk about it here. We talk about it on our podcast at TalkingRealMoney.com and on your favorite podcast service. And we're going to be talking about money. Oh my gosh, we're going to be talking about money in life at Retire Meet America 2021.
That's coming up Saturday, February 20th. You can register right now. RetireMeet.com. RetireMeet.com. Hear from the man you just heard from, Paul Merriman, David Booth, who founded Dimensional Funds, Don, Tom, Long-Term Care, Social Security, Medicare. You got to be part of this event. It's free, it's virtual, and it's going to be phenomenal.
And it's not virtually free. It's free and virtual. It's actually free. You can say virtually free and we charge you $5. We're not. We're not going to charge you anything. All you have to do is just go to our very cool, very easy to navigate website, retiremeet.com. Spell it either way, retiremeet.com, and just sign up because there's no cost. Come as you are. It's virtual, so you can virtually be wearing anything you want. Retiremeet.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That should keep the lawyers happy.